Hello my dear friends and students. So in this lecture we will try to build the logics. Okay, we will just see how to get to the solution of a problem. We will not focus on coding because that we are going to learn in the later course. If you will learn how to build logic, then coding is a very easy part. The difficult part is to make the logics, how to think. Okay, so we will be solving some examples and we will see how we can build the logics. I will tell you the code, but don't get confused how I have written the code. In later lectures, later sessions, I will tell you each and everything. But as of now, just focus on the logic part. Main thing is how we are building the logic. So you should focus on that only. So suppose first question is given to us. A person save 1 rupee on day 1, 2 rupees on day 2 and so on, and that he does for the 10 days. Each day he is increasing 1 rupee. Now if I ask you what is the total money that he saved, so what you are going to say, that on day 1 he saved 1 rupee, on day 2 he saved 2 rupee, on day 3 3 rupees, 4 rupees, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and on 10th day he saved the 10 rupees. So what you have to do is, if you want to find what is the total amount that he saved, just do the addition of all of this. Correct? Then you will get how much money that he has saved. So this is the one of the logic. So what is the logic here? What you will do? You will add all the numbers between 1 and 10. Okay, so this is one of the logic. But it will take some time to build this logic. Why? Because you have to go to each number and then you have to add that. So on first day it was 1 rupee, on second day 2 rupees, then what you have done, 2 plus 1 3 rupees, then you have done 3 plus 3 6 rupees, then 10 rupees, then 15 rupees, then 21 rupees, then 28 rupees, then 36 rupees, then 45 rupees, then last day you got the count as 55 rupees. Like this you have done. Okay, so to solve this problem in a easy time, so this problem I think all must have done in the class 12th. It's a basic AP problem. Okay, so this is the first 10 natural numbers and we know that formula to find the sum of first 10 natural number, that is n into n plus 1 by 2. So if you are going to put n is equal to 10, so 10 plus 1 11 by 2, so it is going to be 55. Suppose if I ask you 100, so you are going to do like this. Okay, so 50 into 101, so it will be 5050. Perfect. But in the above approach, what you were doing, you were going on each number and then you are adding. So it will take some time. Suppose if you have to find the sum of first 100 numbers, then what you do, you add every time and then you reach the last number. So it will take time for you as well as for computer also. So for that, this is the optimized logic. Okay, so if you write this logic in the computer, it will directly give you the sum of numbers. Okay, so how we have reached to this logic, means from where we got this formula. So we have got this formula by a concept. Okay, I will tell you the concept later. So first of all, let us write like this, n minus 1 and last term. Suppose we are going to find the sum of n numbers. Okay, we know one property, that associative property, that a plus b will be equals to b plus a, right? 2 plus 3 will be equals to 3 plus 2, all are 5. So what I am done, I have written the series in the reverse order. So it will be n minus 1, n minus 2 and like this 2, 1. Then what I have done, I have done the addition of both the, okay, so here I get 2 times of Sn. If we are going to add these two terms, so it will be n plus 1. If you are going to add, so n minus 1 plus 2, it will be again n plus 1. Here also if you are going to do, it will be again n plus 1. Like this, if you here also what it will be n plus 1. Here also it will be n plus 1. So how many times this n plus 1 is coming? We have n numbers, so it is coming n times. Right? So I can write like this, 2Sn is equal to n times n plus 1. So what is the value of Sn? n plus 1 by 2. So from like this we have got the formula. Okay, so what is the logic here? That if it was given in this way, what we have done, we have reversed the our pattern, and then we have done the addition and we got this method. Okay, now if you want to write the code is very easy, because if you got the logic, this is the optimized approach. This is the fastest way to get the sum of first and numbers. So if you want to write the logic, what you will do, first of all you will take the input from the user, that tell me how many number we should find, means for how many days you need to find. So what you are going to do, you are going to use a function input, and you are going to give the message enter the number n. Okay, so this input what will do, it will take the input. Generally input come in the string format, so we will convert into the integer. If you are not getting what I am saying, just leave it for now. Then what we will do, that sum is equal to n into n plus 1 by 2, and then we will return the sum. So this is the logic to find the problem of the above question. Okay, sum of the first and natural number. So if you didn't get this, no issue, but you should get this part. Okay, the logic part, how we have built this logic. Okay, so this is the first example. Let us move to the second example. Suppose if I ask you, tell me count the number of digits in a number. Okay, suppose if in the question input is given to you, so what the question is, count digit. Okay, so the in question it is given a number will be given to you. Suppose a number is given 9236. So in output what you need to do, you need to return the number of digits. So how many digits are there? 4. Now you are going to say, what the question are you saying? Everyone can do the count the number of digits, right? But this thing computer has to do for us. Okay, so we give a number to the computer 387, and in output what it needs to return, there are 3 numbers, correct? Like this. Okay, so what is the logic that you use to count the number of digits? Like think from base, because you have to start from a scratch. I know you can count the number of digits here, 4 digits are there, but how computer will know there are 4 digits? Okay, so what you can do is, one thing that click in my mind is, we will take the input and then we will divide this number into different parts, and then we will use the count method to increase the count. Okay, what I am saying I will tell you now. Suppose what we will do, we will start counting the numbers from the end. So first of all what I will do, my number is 9236. So I will come to the last digit, I will remove the last digit. Okay, and then initially suppose my count is 0. Count is 0. We removed the last digit. Now my count has become 1. Then what we will do, we will come to this second last digit. We will remove this digit. Now my count will become 2. We will come to this number. We will remove this number, and now my count will become 3. Okay, now we will come to this number. We will remove this number. Now my count will become 0. Sorry, 4. 3 plus 1, 4. So as we have removed all the numbers, so it has become 0. Okay, so this is the logic that we are using to solve this problem, right? Now how we are going to do this, means I told you we are going to remove the last digit every time. Now your task is to think how you can remove the last digit. Okay, how we can remove the last digit. Now your task is to think this. Okay, you can pause the video and you can start thinking for a minute. If you didn't get the logic, you can come back to the video, no issue in that. Okay, so our task is to remove the last digit, and we should get 923 next time. Okay, so here what we will do, suppose if I divide the number x by 10, 9236 by 10, what you will get? You will get 923.6. But in computer, if you divide a number by 10, it will give you the integer solution, means it will remove the 0.6. So what you will get? You will get 923. So this is what only we required. I told you na, we need to remove 6. Now what we will do, our x is become 923. What we will do, we will again divide this number. So we are going to get 92.3. But we know that in computer, if we divide x by 10, it will give the integer solution. So it will not give 92.3, it will give us the 92. So that is what only we required. We need to remove 3 and 3 is removed. Again 92 is there. What we will do? And every time we are increasing the count. So first we remove this, count has become 1. Then we remove this, count become 2. Then we remove. Now what we will do? We will remove the next letter. Okay. So here the count, here the first number was removed. Here the second number is removed. Now again 92 divided by 10, we are going to get 9. Now our count has become 3. And our number has become only 9. And if we divide 9 by 10, we are going to get 0.9. But I told you computer will give the integer solution just before that number. Means computer will give us value 0. But our count is increased to 4. So as soon as we get the 0, it means we have got the number of values that are present in the digit. Okay. So for this we have used this method. So I will also tell you how to write the function, and we will also dry run the function. Okay. So function name is count, which will take an input x, and initially what we will do, we will, okay, this is let's say function name is count digit, count d, and let's say the variable that we were taking, it is 0. So initially count is 0. So what we will do, we will run a while loop. While x is greater than 0, what we will do, we will divide that number by 10. So if you do x by 10, suppose if you do like this, 97 by 10. So what it will give you? Actually we will get 9.7, but computer will give 9. But Python used to give 9.0 to us. If you want integer solution, you need to use double division. Okay. It will give us the value exact 9. Correct. So yeah, this is x is equal to x by 10. So as we have divided the number, what we will do, we will increase the count by 1. So count will be count plus 1. So initially count was 0. So what we will do, in 0 we will add 1. So count will become 1 now. Okay, we will run this loop till we have positive value. And when this for loop end, what we will do, we will return the C. Okay, so let us dry run again. Let's say x is equal to 321. This is our number. So first of all, count value is, C value is 0 and x value is this. So first of all, we are going to divide x by 10. So x value will be 32, but count will be increased to 1. Okay, now it will check if x is greater than 0. Yes, it is greater than 0. Again it will divide by 10. So we will get 3, but count will be increased by 1. So we will get count as 2. Okay, now it will check, is 3 greater than 0, x is greater than 0. Yes, it is greater than 0. So what we will do, we will divide x, we will come to this step, and x will be x divided by 10. We will get x as 0, but count will be increased to 3. Okay, now what we will do, if is 0 is greater than 0, no, this condition is false. So what I told, return C. What is the C? 3. So what we will return C, 3. Okay, so this is the count of this 321. Okay, I hope you got the logic. Logic is, every time we will reduce a digit from the end and we will increase the count. So this was the logic that we have used. Okay, now let us try to solve more problems. Okay, let us try to solve a problem named as palindrome number. So everyone must know what is palindrome number. Palindrome number are those number which, when we start from starting and end, both are representing the same thing. So suppose if we get this number, so what you have to do, in output you need to return value as true. Why? Because if you start from this side you are going to get same number, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9. Okay, suppose if in input and x is given to you as 21, so in output what you need to return? False. Because if you are going to start from ending and first element, it means the letters are not coming same, then you need to return false. And suppose if in input there is only one digit is given 7. So if you are going to start from front and end, what will be the output? Output will be true only, because you are getting the same digit if you are starting from the front and starting from the end. Now pause the video for 1 minute and try to think the logic, how you are going to solve this problem. Okay, in the terms of computer, because computer didn't know how that, by eyes we can see that first number is same, second is same. But for computer you have to give the instruction that buddy, check the last digit, then come to second last, then 9 is common. Okay, you have to tell the computer what to do. So that is the logic building. That's why I told you, just think for the solution how you can come to the this approach. Okay, so I will tell you one approach. There can be multiple approaches to solve a problem. I am telling one of the approach. Your approach may be different from the my approach. Okay, what I will do is, suppose if in input our number is like this 8987. Okay, what I will do, I will try to find the reverse of the number. I will try to find the reverse of the number. So it will be 78987. So here you are not seeing any difference. Suppose x is 321, and if I try to find reverse of x, what it will be 1 2 3. Then I will compare if x and reverse of x are equal or not. If x equals to reverse of x, it means they are palindrome. So we will return true. Right? So in this case, x was this and reverse of x was this. So if x equal to reverse of x, so in this case what it will do, we will return true. And if they are not equal, return false. So this is the one of the approach. Okay, you can also write like this. A function you can write like this, which will start checking from the end, and then it will compare each element. If they are equal, it will check the second element from the starting and second element from the end. Okay, like this can be also an approach, but I am using the approach. What I will do, first I will try to find the reverse of a number. Suppose in the above example, if 21 is given, so what I will do, I will find the reverse of x, it will be 12. And now I will check whether 12 and 21 are equal or not. If they are not equal, what I will do, I will try to return the false. Okay, if we take this example of 7, so this, suppose x is equal to 7, so reverse of x will be also 7. Now 7 and reverse of x both are same. So what I will do, I will try to return the true. So my logic is this. Now my question is how I can find the reverse of a number. Okay, this is also a question. How to find reverse of a number? This is also a question. Reverse of a number. You need to think the logic for this. Suppose a number is given to you 321. How you will find the reverse of the number? So for reverse of the number, you need the elements from the ending. Correct? You need the elements from the end. So just in the previous example only we have seen, if we divide the element by 10, what we are going to get? We are going to get 32. Okay. But what if we divide, instead of dividing this by 10, let me show you the division. So 321, if we divide by them, so 3 times we get 30 and 21, then 2 times we get, so I hope you know the division. So we want the last digit. So what is the last digit? Last digit is the remainder. So somehow if we got the last digit, then we can do something, because we want to reverse the number. So to find the remainder, there is a operator that x will be equals to x percentage of 10. So what this percentage will give, it will give you the remainder. So here what we are going to get, we are going to get value as 1. Right? So let's say what I will do, I will take a variable last digit, and here it will be equals to x percentage of 10, and here we are going to get value as 1. Okay, so we got the last digit. Now what we will do, now we got the last digit, now there is no use of last digit. So how we will remove the last digit? By dividing the element by 10. Okay, so what it will give? It will give the quotient, so it will 32. So now our number has become 32 because we have removed already 1. Okay, so now our number has become 32. Here let me write it x as, here x will become 32 now. Earlier it was 321, so we removed 1. Now x has become 32. Now suppose if you again remove this last element, so what will be the last digit? Last digit now is 1. Suppose if you remove the last digit from this, last digit will become 2. But if you update the last digit in the same number, this digit will be get lost. Okay, so before doing the same operation again, we need to store this last digit somewhere else. So how we are going to store this in somewhere else? So what we will do, we will do one thing. We will, before again calculating the last digit, we will do one operation. What is that operation? That we will take one other variable reverse. Okay, so reverse x we were taking, so here we will take reverse x. So what will be the reverse x? Reverse x will be equals to reverse x into 10 plus last digit. Okay, so initially we will start this reverse x is equal to 0. So 0 multiply 10 will be 0. If in 0 if you are going to add last digit, what it will be? It will be 1. It means in reverse x we have value 1 now. Again we will run this loop. So last digit this time will be, x was 32 now, so 32 percentage 2 will give us value 2. So last digit is 2 now. Now x will become 3 because we have divided this by 10. Now it will be reverse x will be reverse x into 10. So what is the value of reverse x? 1 into 10 plus 2. So what you are going to get? 12 you are going to get. So in reverse x, what value we are going to get? 12 we are going to get. Again we will come to this last digit. So what is the x now? X value is 3. So if you are going to divide 3 percentage 10, what is the remainder that you are going to get? 3. Now it will become 0. Okay. Now again we will come to this formula. It will be something like this: 12 into 10. Reverse x value was 12 only. So 12 into 10 plus last digit is 3. So it will be 120 plus 3 and 123. So tell me, initially what we were having? 321. Now what we got? Reverse of that number, 123. Okay, so you got the logic what we have done. First of all, we have calculated the last digit. Then we have removed the last digit. Then we have added the last digit in a variable reverse x by this concept that reverse x multiply by 10 plus last digit. Okay, so the same thing what you have to do, you have to write in the form of code. Then we can get our solution. Okay, so let us write reverse, okay, which will take one input x. So initially what we will do, we will take last digit. So sorry, we want one variable. Let's say variable name is rev, that is starting from 0. Okay, and we want a number. This x we are not going to change. Okay, or else we can change also. If okay, let us, what we will do, we will store this x to one other variable n. Now what we will do, while this n not become equals to 0, so okay, let's write n here so you will not get confused. Okay, I have done nothing. So we were talking about the x na. So till x not become 0, we will run our loop. So we will write like this: while x is not equals to 0. So first of all, what we were doing, we were calculating the last digit. Last digit was x percentage of 10. Then what we were doing, we were reducing our number. So how we were reducing our number? X will be x divided by 10. And then we were calculating reverse. Reverse was reverse into 10 plus last digit. So as soon as this while loop complete, so what we were doing, we were directly returning the, okay, so we got the last digit. Now what we were doing, so our question was not to find the last digit. Our question was to check whether the number is palindrome or not. So we have got the last digit. So what we will do now, so we will apply the condition. If reverse x reverse equal to the number that we have got initially. So initially what we got? N. If both are equal, so what we will do, we will return true. Else what we will do, we will return false. Okay, that's why we stored that number with the different variable. Okay, so this is the logic. So just think what I have done. So logic is important, how we have approached this problem. Coding part you will do. I will teach you how to write each and every line. This is very simple, but the main thing is that logic should click on your mind. We will take one more example, factorial of a number, then we will wrap up this video and session. Okay, suppose if you want to find the factorial of a number. Factorial of a number. Okay, so what is factorial? If I ask you 5 factorial, so you will say that we need to multiply the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then you are going to get value as 120. Right? This is the factorial. Right? If I give you find factorial of 4, So in input, what will I give you? I will give you value of n, that is 4. So in output, what you need to return? You need to return 24. You don't have to write these terms. So question will be like, they will give you n value and you have to write a function that will return directly 24. Okay, so what is the approach that you can use? You can use the approach that what we will do, we will start from 1 and we will go till we reach the value n. So here n value was 5 and we will multiply the terms. Yes, this is the one of the approach. Okay, so how to write this approach? So define factorial that will give us the input n, and here we will define a variable f whose value will be 1 initially. Now what we will do, while, and we are going to start from a variable I that is also equal to 1. So while I is less than n, what we will do, we will multiply f is equal to f into I. Okay, and at the end what we will do, we will return f. Now you will say, sir, what you have written? Okay, I will tell you what I have written. So n value was 4, I value was 1, f value was 1. So first of all, we came to this while loop. So 1 is less than 4, yes, it will enter in the while loop. F will be f into I. So f will be f, and what is the value of I? 1. So f value will become 1 now. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to increase I by 1. So I will be equals to I plus 1. Now what we will do, I told you, first of all we will multiply by 1, then we will move to next element. So to move to the next element, we have taken the help of this I. So I will be I plus 1. Now I has become 2. Now again f will be equals to 1 into 2. So what is the value in the f now? 2. Again I is increased by 1. So I value will become 3 now. So we will check the condition. Is 3 is less than 4? Yes. Okay. So now f will be equals to, what is the value of f? 2 into 3. So f value will become 6 now. I will become increased by 1. So we want multiplication till 4. So it should be, I should be less than equal to n. Now 4 is less than equal to 4. This condition is true. It will move inside the loop. So it will be, f value was 6, I value was 4, 24. Now we increase the I by 1. So I will become now 5. So if you are going to reach to this point, so you are saying 5 is less than equal to 4. Is this statement is true? No, this is not true. So we will come out of this while loop and we will return the f. So what was stored in the f? 24. So we will get the solution as 24. So like this we have done the question. So this approach is known as iterative approach. What this approach is known as? Iterative approach. We can also solve this approach by a recursive approach. I will tell you what is recursive approach also. Okay. So basically if I ask you to find the factorial of 5. Okay. So you can say that 5 will be equals to 5 factorial will be equals to 5 multiplied by 4 factorial. Okay. If I ask you the same question, find me the 4 factorial, you are going to say that 4 will be equals to 4 into 3 factorial. Same thing if I ask you to find the 3 factorial, you are going to say that 3 will be equals to 3 into 2 factorial. And if I ask you to find 2 factorial, you are going to say 2 into 1 factorial. And for 1 factorial, the value is defined for us, that is 1. So what we have do, we have recursively called the function. So 1, we will return this value as 1. So it will be 2 into 1. So what is the value of 2 factorial? 2. So we will return the value 2 here. So 2 into 3, 6. So what is the value of 3 factorial? 6. So it will come to here. Now 6 into 4, it will be 24. So this 4 factorial will be 24. So 24 into 5, 120. So 5 factorial value will be 120. So I will tell you how to write the code for this. Okay. If you didn't get how I have written the code, no issue. But just see what I have done. This is the define. Here we are going to write function name. Okay. For recursive approach, we need the base condition. Okay. So base condition means how we are going to terminate this. So if n equal to become 1s, what we will do, we will return 1 because 1 factorial is 1. Rest of the time what we will do, we will return the function how we were doing. So if they ask us this question, what we have done, we have written that function n multiply by, we have called the same function n minus by n minus 1. Okay, so what is fact n minus 1 means? We told that 5 factorial will be equals to 5 into 4 factorial. So this is the same thing that we have done. Now this entire code will be run automatically. Okay, I will again show you the dry run one more time, so it will help you to understand the things more clearly. Okay, suppose if we got fact 5, this is our question, fact 5. We came here. Now we will check what is the value of n. N is 5 for us. So it will check whether it is equal to 1. No, it is not equal to 1. What I told you, return n into fact n minus 1. So what is n? 5 multiplied by fact of 4. It will again come and check whether n is equal to 1. No, n is 4 now. It is updated to 4. Again what it will do? 4 into fact of 3. It will again check whether n is equal to 1. No, it is not. So again do the same thing. 3 into fact of 2. Again it will see if n is equal to 1. No, it is not. So again it will do the same thing. 2 into fact of 1. So now it will come and check n is 1 now. Yes, n is 1. Return 1. It means here what it will come, instead of fact 1 we will get the value as 1 now, because we have written 1. So now 2 into 1 will be 2. Instead of fact 2 what we will get? 2 now. 3 into 2 will be 6. So instead of 3 we will get 6. This process will be done automatically. Okay. Now 6 into 4, 24. So instead of fact 4 what value will be updated automatically? 24. So 24 into 5, what value will be updated in the fact 5? It will be updated as 120, and directly we will get the solution as 120. So this is the recursive approach. Okay, so for recursive approach we need a base condition, NF, choice diagram or flow chart, choice diagram. Okay, I will tell you all the things in the later videos. In this video we just have tried to build the concept, okay, build the logic, how to think, how to think differently in the computer science field. Okay, so I have given you some examples. In next video we will cover more examples. Okay, so if you have any doubt, please ask me in the comment section. I will be attaching the link of this PDF in the description box. You can check out the link, and if you have any doubt you can watch the video again, because it is very important. Logic building is very important in the we can say coding. Code writing is simple, difficult is logic building. That's why we are focusing on logic building only. Okay, thank you.